What is going on, everybody? And today we're coming at you with another video of fantasy football, what I think's gonna, position wise, who I think's gonna be where. Obviously my top 10 again. We're doing running backs today, so we're kind of expanding out more from just quarterbacks. So we got a little bit more on this list than what we did with quarterbacks. I'm obviously going to have my top 10. I'm going to have a little more stay away running backs. I'm going to have 5 sleepers. I have 5 risky players. I have 5 rookie running backs that you probably can't go wrong with in a 12-man league. And then I have my honorable mentions, which I'm going to start out with my honorable mentions here because I don't think these guys really fall under any of these categories here. Obviously not top 10. So my first honorable mention here is Damien Harris. I can see him being a sleeper in this situation, but I do have a couple sleepers on this list that people would still consider sleepers because of who's at quarterback, who came in, things like that. So that's my first honorable mention here. My other honorable, and by the way, these honorable mentions are these guys that you should probably look at in your draft, or you could pick them up. Who knows? It depends who's in your league and who's not smart enough to understand. You understand? But I'm here talking to you as someone that has never. This is the first couple times, and you need help. You need help at drafting. You need help with fantasy football. So this is me talking to you. My second honorable mention here is David Montgomery. Once Tariq Cohen comes back, I think that's going to take a lot of workload off of David Montgomery, but Montgomery's still going to be the RB1 with Chicago, so I don't see any problems there. He's going to be starting on your team, yes, but I don't see him as a top 10, or I don't see him as a sleeper. And then my last honorable mention coming in the 1 spot, I do have Kareem Hunt. I think that speaks for itself there, with Nick Chubb being the RB1 in Cleveland. Kareem Hunt's usually a pretty good flex spot for you, and you can't go wrong there. He's going to pick up receiving yards. If you're in a PPR league, that's even better. So yeah. So coming in at here's my top 10. Starting at number 10, I was going to put him at risky, but there's riskier players in this. But I do have Saquon Barkley. I do understand he's coming back off an injury. He's not going to get a ton of workload first couple of weeks. That's already been said. So get ready for that. You may want to probably stash him a little away for a little while, find a backup just for the time being until he's back to 100%. He's probably about 90% right now, but still you want to be weary of that. Number 9, I do have Jonathan Taylor. Again, Carson Wentz at quarterback. I think there's going to be kind of a run-heavy offense. If you understand where I'm coming from here, yes, they're going to be passing, but I think this is going to be a mainly Jonathan Taylor show here. Coming at number 8, I do have Austin Eckler. I think I have him a bit low, but still, anybody in this top 10 I would be taking in this draft for 2021. So you can't go wrong with Austin Eckler as an RB1. Number 7, we have Zeke. I do understand he has fumbling problems and stuff like that. But I think this is going to be a good year for Zeke in a sense, coming in at number 7. So on my list. So if you get a chance to get Zeke, I'd probably take him if he's the best available. Coming in at number 6, I do have Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones did have a pretty solid year last year. Will he recreate last year? I would highly doubt it. But he's still a top back in this league. He's a top 10 back. So you can't go wrong with that pick. Coming in at number 5, we're in the top 5 now. My number 5 pick, I do have Nick Chubb. Yes, again, this is kind of like a Zeke situation. He does have problems at fumbling from last year. But I think this is going to be a whole different thing in Cleveland this year, to where I think they're going to be pretty even on how it was last year. But I don't think going with Nick Chubb's going to hurt anybody here. And that's why I have him at number 5. At number 4, I do have Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be the showman in this offense this year. If he can fight the injuries and keep them away, he's going to be a top 3 back in my book. I have him at number 4. but you can understand why I don't have him at number 3, and that's because I do have Derrick Henry at number 3 this year. I don't think he's going to put up the same kind of numbers as he did in the past season in 2020, because you're bringing in Julio Jones, and that's with A.J. Brown as well. And we're talking about the lowest offensive passing offense in 2020, which that's obviously going to go up since you added Julio Jones to your roster. So I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be getting as many points as we saw last year, but still, he's going to be a safe pick. It does not matter. At number 2, I do have the second best receiving back in the league. As of last year, he was number 1, but you can understand why I have him at number 2. Alvin Kamara coming in at number 2. Jameis Winston's going to get bailed out a lot by Alvin Kamara here. This is what's going to make him look good. Without Michael Thomas for Jameis Winston, I think Alvin Kamara is going to, be that workhorse for Jameis to make him look a little better, in which I can respect that. So I have it at number 2. And of course at number 1, at no cost, I would be taking Christian McCaffrey with the first pick in the fantasy NFL draft. Again, this is a guy that you can't say, oh, well, he was hurt last year, because this guy is going to be a walking touchdown for you all. Rushing, catching, receiving yards, touchdown. I mean, you're going to get it all with Christian McCaffrey. And if he stays healthy this year, we're looking at the number 1 running back in the league, and there's no debate about it. Sam Darnold, new quarterback. I think it's going to work out pretty good here. My top stay away players coming at number 6 is Mike Davis. We saw what they did with Todd Gurley. It just did not work out in Atlanta. Terrible offensive line. I don't see anything changing here. I think Mike Davis was a one-year wonder last year for Carolina for the backup of Christian McCaffrey. So yeah, just stay away from Mike Davis as much as possible. I'm not saying don't draft him. You don't need to be the guy to draft him. Number 5, Devin Singletary. Again, this is going to be a split back scheme in Buffalo, but I think Zach Moss is going to get the load here. I think he's going to be breaking out as the number 1 running back in Buffalo, and Singletary is just going to be the Singletary that we saw last year. Number 4, Kenyon Drake. I don't know if this is a controversial pick for me, because Josh Jacobs, he's a guy that you understand later, but it's going to be a 2-back workhorse thing. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to be all that this season. So Kenyon Drake's going to be helping out with that, but I don't think he's going to be getting as many snaps. So stay away from Kenyon Drake unless injuries happen. Number 3, Melvin Gordon. Don't get me wrong, I like this guy. I like this. The pick is stay away here, which you can understand why. I think the rookie Javonte Williams is going to be starting by the end of the year here, to where Melvin Gordon's not going to be needed on your team. And he's just going to be taking up space, so he's going to be in the waiver wire. Let's be honest here. Number 2, James Conner. This one was tough for me, but I would have put him as risky, but I'm going to say stay away from James Conner, because Chase Edmonds is going to be the RB1 here. But I hope I'm wrong. Trust me, I hope I'm wrong on that pick too. And as well as my number 1, and that's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Injuries, he has been battling with injuries, man, and that's the killer once you draft him. Once you draft Clyde, you're taking on a burden here, kind of like last year. We saw how good he was against Houston in Week 1, and then just went downhill from there. So try to stay away from Clyde until I'm proven wrong. My risky players here, number 5, I got to go DeAndre Swift. Groin injury, those are never good in the NFL, and those haunt you until the end of the season. But then again, if he fights this groin injury, you're going to get a pretty solid back. Number 4, I have this put down as any Houston running back: Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, Mark Ingram. I'd probably stay away from David Johnson and Mark Ingram, so I'm mainly talking about Phillip Lindsay here. It's risky. It's just a risky pick. I could put this as a stay away, but Phillip Lindsay, he has an upside that he can really build on in Houston, so I'm going to put him as a risky pick. Number 3, Josh Jacobs. Again, it's kind of, I don't know why I have him in this situation. I think Josh Jacobs is a phenomenal running back. It's just you're taking a risk with drafting Josh Jacobs. Same with Chris Carson at number 2. Injury plagued last year. If you get a healthy Chris Carson, obviously he's going to be a top 10 running back. And I do consider Chris Carson as a sleeper as well, but not on here, but just in general. Chris Carson is a pretty solid pickup for you. And then number 1, the guy that's been letting us down for year in and year out so far, Joe Mixon. It's going to be, I don't want to say stay away from him, but if he stays healthy, then you're going to have to worry about the offensive line blocking for him. And then it's a domino effect. So just if you draft Joe Mixon, if he's the best available at that point, okay. Just understand what workload you're taking on for your fantasy team, but don't look at Joe Mixon as anything other than a flex at this situation. My sleepers, there's a couple. There's one sleeper in this that people are gonna be like, well, he's not a sleeper, but I understand that. But at the same time, he is, because he's still being underlooked under fantasy radar. But that's coming later. So at number 5, I do have Jamal Williams. If DeAndre Swift does continue to have that groin injury in Detroit, Jamal Williams will take on that workload, and he's going to be a great fill-in for DeAndre Swift and the Lions at the running back spot. Jamal Williams just got picked up by the Detroit this year, coming from Green Bay. Had a it was a pretty solid outing for Green Bay last year for Jamal Williams. So I think he's going to be my number 5 sleeper here. At number 4, I think the elephant's out of the room. We've talked about it. J.K. Dobbins is hurt all season, so Gus Edwards is going to be taking on that workload. Not a top 10 running back, but he is a sleeper on my book. Gus Edwards I think he's going to be the guy that they've been looking for all along. I mean, in complete honesty, and this is just going to help him out more with this injury, and he's going to be able to show what he's got in Baltimore. Number 3, Myles Gaskin. We have heard that Miami is going to run with a 3-back scheme, which I'm not buying it, because once Myles Gaskin starts going, this is going to be the guy. So everybody that's heard about that is kind of like, well, I don't think we're going to want Myles Gaskin. I don't think we're going to want him on my team because he's not going to be getting all these touches. You're going to be sharing it with 2 other guys. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think once he establishes that he's the RB1 there, it's on from there, and I don't think you can go wrong with Myles Gaskin with that pick. Great flex pick, great bye week pick, maybe even an RB2 pick right there. I support that. At number 2, I have James Robinson. Yes, I understand that he had a phenomenal rookie season last year, but again, he's still considered a sleeper right now because Travis Etienne, some people are like, well, since I got Travis Etienne, they're not going to be doing this and this and this. Well, Etienne's hurt, and James Robinson's going to be able to have another chance to be like, okay, I'm RB1. Etienne's going to have to work for his spot in this Jaguars offense next season. So James Robinson, great receiving back. He's going to get you points. But at number 1 on my sleeper list, I have Antonio Gibson. Ron Rivera has said that they are going to use Antonio Gibson like how he did with Christian McCaffrey. That's music to my ears. I got him. I traded for him. I love the sound of that. There's just something about receiving backs in PPR leagues. If you don't know what PPR is at this point, when I keep on saying that, it's points per reception. Other than that, look it up. But other than that, Antonio Gibson, I think, is the number 1 sleeper this year heading into the 2021 NFL season, let alone fantasy. Rookies that you can't go wrong with here. At number 1, I'm going to start out with Michael Carter, the Jets running back. They picked him this year in the draft. I think he's going to be an all right running back, but he's going to be sharing the load with Ty Johnson, I would believe. LaMichael Pirine, I think, is already done. I don't think there's anything else there for them. But Michael Carter, I see him as a potential RB1 in that Jets running back room. At number 4, I do have Javonte Williams, the Denver running back. That's the guy that I said that's probably going to overthrow Melvin Gordon by the end of the year, which I 100% believe. So you can't go wrong there with Javonte Williams. At number 3, I have Ramondre Stevenson. Right now, he's still considered our running back 3 here. Sony Michel getting traded, that moves him up. Phenomenal preseason. Touchdown machine right there. But I think by the end of the year, I think Rhamondre Stevenson is going to be a third and short back. He's going to be end zone back. He's going to be putting up some points. Would I start him? No, I wouldn't pick him up. I wouldn't pick him up right now. Let some weeks go by. But I don't think by the end of the season, I don't think you're going to be upset with picking him up because he's going to be producing. Number 2, I do have Trey Sermon. Raheem Mostert, I don't think's the guy. I really don't. I don't think he's the guy in San Francisco. Trey Sermon, I give it till about week 6 or 7 until he's getting the whole package. Once he does, I'd be targeting. I would be drafting Trey Sermon if I were you. Late rounds. Don't waste any picks on another quarterback. Don't be that guy that drafts 3 quarterbacks or 2 kickers or 2 defenses. Pick up somebody that you think will actually have a shot, who will actually pick up some points this year. Trey Sermon's that guy. But at number 1, the guy that's going to be starting from week 1 this Sunday, Najee Harris. I think he's going to be a pretty solid guy from preseason. He looked good. But then again, why is this pick going to be different than James Conner? We saw that offensive line not being able to block for Pittsburgh, for James Conner, for Benny Snell, those guys like that. It's a good pick at first, and then keep him on your bench. Let's see where it goes. I know the projections are high for week 1 for Najee Harris, but be safe. Be safe. You don't know what you're getting here. Never start a rookie. Never start a rookie going into week 1. That's my advice to you. Just don't start a rookie going into week 1. We saw preseason, but then again, preseason are guys fighting for a roster spot. You're going to go up against those guys, that talent. So let's see what Najee Harris can do before you say, okay, I'm going to put him into my flex, into my RB2 spot, because there's no reason why you should have an RB2 as your RB1 or a flex as your RB1. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, again, I think there's some controversial things on here, but they'll work themselves out, and hopefully I'm right on some of these, and hopefully I'm wrong on some of these. I hope my stayaways are wrong. I love to be proven wrong there. But then again, I like to be right on some of those as well. Riskies, again, take that with a grain, as a thread. So I mean, there's some that I'm controversial about, but either way, other than that, next is going to be wide receivers. It's going to be about the same size video. There's no way I can just go 1 through 10. I'm probably going to have to go do like a 1 through 20, 1 through 15 as my top wide receivers going into 2021. Tomorrow, I'm telling you, it's the start of the season. And so I really hope that this video helps you all out. And other than that, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.